Welcome back. You're watching live from Paris on France 24. It's time now for Focus. Now, it's a decision that's inflaming tensions between Iraq's Sunnis and Shiites. A court has sentenced the vice president to death by hanging. Tariq al-Hashimi is accused of ordering a string of bombings and assassinations following the fall of Saddam Hussein. Well, speaking from Turkey, where he fled in December, al-Hashimi claimed his absolute innocence. He says that the Shiite Prime Minister Nouri al-Maliki is carrying out a vendetta against him, and there are fears that this decision could stoke sectarian violence even further.
Counting the cost of the violence. Nearly 100 people were killed over the weekend as Baghdad was hit by more than 30 attacks, including a number of car bombs. One of the worst affected areas was the Shiite district of Sadr city. As Iraqis ask who the perpetrators might be, they also fear their country may be returning to the dark days of civil war.
It's the work of terrorists. We don't know who's behind it. Some people are accusing the Shiites, others are accusing the Sunnis. The truth is, we don't know, but it's innocent civilians who are paying the price.
The violence comes as Iraq's Sunni Vice President Tariq al-Hashimi was sentenced to death in absentia for operating death squads. He had been deputy head of state from 2006, but when coalition forces pulled out of Iraq in December last year, Shiite Prime Minister Nouri al-Maliki issued a warrant for his arrest. As the most senior Sunni politician in a largely Shiite government and nation, al-Hashemi's sentence is likely to damage already fragile relations within the ruling coalition. Sunnis believe Shiites are seeking revenge after suffering years of tyranny and persecution under the Sunni regime of Saddam Hussein. After the dictator was toppled and the country occupied by Western forces, sectarian fighting between the Shia and Sunni communities left tens of thousands of people dead. Exiled in Turkey, al-Hashemi accused al-Maliki's government on Monday of stoking up fresh tensions between the two communities.
Don't let al-Maliki and those working with him turn this into an issue of religion. You must answer these conspiracies and provocations in a calm and civilized way. Show that you can be responsible and exercise self-control.
The vice president in exile can count on the support of most Iraqi Sunnis. They believe this death sentence is intended to remove him from politics before the general election in 2 years' time. A higher level of Shia influence could help Iraq foster increasingly strong relations with its neighbour and former enemy, Iran.
Well, tonight's Focus guest is Myriam Benraad. She's a researcher at Sciences Po University here in Paris. Good evening to you. Thanks for being with us. First of all, let's talk a bit about what al-Hashimi is accused of. I mean, there are around 150 charges against him. He's accused of ordering killings and assassinations as some part of death squad. Tell us a bit more about it.
Well, these are the main charges against him. He's been accused by the government of running death squads guilty of killings against Shia populations, more precisely, and of a number of murders targeting, in particular, a female lawyer and other personalities. Since the start, since December 2011, when he was accused and had to run away from Iraq, he basically said what he's just stated, that it was a plot, a political plot against him, and a plot meant for al-Maliki to suppress him, to eliminate him from the political landscape. And one more move in the process initiated by al-Maliki and aimed at concentrating more and more prerogatives against his rivals, and more particularly Sunni rivals linked to the Iraqi coalition, the coalition run by Iyad Alawi, who faced him during the last legislative elections in 2010.
Well, al-Hashimi, he's not the only Sunni to have fallen foul of al-Maliki, is he? I think the Deputy Prime Minister, Salih al-Mutlaq, al-Maliki's trying to get rid of him. Is this some kind of Shiite plan to get the Sunnis out of power altogether?
I would say that the crisis in Iraq today is political, not only opposing Shia and Sunnis, but also more generally political actors who are all seeking more power.
They don't trust each other.
And don't trust each other, and we can see that through the conflict opposing al-Maliki to other Shia forces like the Sadrist movement of Muqtada al-Sadr. But there is clearly a Sunni issue in Iraq that's been present since 2003, and that that traces its roots in the marginalization, in the total ostracization of Sunnis from the political process and from the political life, the political process, and from the reconstruction dynamic in Iraq. So this has been a problem since the beginning of the occupation, and which lasts until today, that has not been resolved. The different national reconciliation conferences and initiatives have led to nothing tangible to date. So this question is still here and inflames, feeds sectarianism, feeds negative perceptions between Iraqis, and the feeling among many Sunnis that Iraq, that the present government is indeed pursuing a sectarian objective with the backing of Iran.
Yes, I was going to say, al-Hashimi did allude to Iran's role today. Do you think they have anything to do with what's going on?
Well, of course, the al-Maliki government has very close ties with the Iranian regime, but I would say that, again, the dynamics of violence in Iraq are really internal, are really Iraqi, per se.
Oh, really? And nothing to do with what's going on, for example, in Syria?
There is something to do, of course, with the regional play, with the Syrian crisis, with Iran, but the political crisis, again, is opposing Iraqi figures, Iraqi politicians, and cannot be only reduced to a sectarian problem. Although, as I said, the occupation fed sectarianism, because the whole political process, the first government that was established in 2003, was built on sectarian quotas. So this fed sectarianism, this fed the perception, again, among Sunni Iraqis that Iran, that the Shia are trying to suppress them from Iraq and are trying to build a Shi'i Iraq with the backing, again, of the regime in Tehran. So this is the perception that is here basically illustrated through the statement of al-Hashimi, but again, that is widespread among Sunnis.
And that's why you've got the kind of violence that we saw at the weekend, with hundreds of people injured and many people killed as well.
So the attacks that were waged are attacks waged by a minority, by Al-Qaeda.
But they say they were acting in revenge for the murder of Sunnis.
Yes, they're acting in revenge, not in revenge against the death sentence against al-Hashimi, but against
Sunni prisoners,
the execution of Sunni prisoners, most of them being linked to Al-Qaeda, being former fighters with Al-Qaeda. Al-Qaeda has the objective overall of spoiling the American legacy in Iraq, the political legacy in Iraq, and not only targets Shia or representatives from the government or symbols of the government, but also Sunni politicians, which the organization considers as collaborators of an illegitimate government.
Mm-hmm. Do you think Nouri al-Maliki is the right man to lead this government?
Well, Nouri al-Maliki was seen for a long time as the right man, and this was the case with the Americans who backed him. And progressively, he started concentrating powers, so he's now Prime Minister, Minister of Interior, Minister of Defense. He's been pursuing this concentration of power for a while now, and this has led to the present crisis. A lot of his opponents being now accusing him of being a new Saddam, being a new despot. Mm-hmm. And there is a clear return of Iraq to authoritarian politics, as we can see through this new maneuver of al-Maliki against the vice president.
All right, Myriam, Benraad, we'll have to leave it there, but thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Well, that's it for Focus. Don't go away. A short break, and we'll be back with the international headlines. This is France 24.
Two men battling it out.
23 million Americans out of work. Stamped with those three proud words.
That's a good, strong voice.
Finish what we started and...
Two men facing their destiny. Follow the US election on France 24.